All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, Monday, December 22nd. It is 9 a.m. We're going to talk to Jay Tate in a few moments about Alex Golesh taking over as the Auburn head football coach, how things have been, what's been going on, maybe an answer to some of the portal questions that a lot of Auburn fans have. First, Greg, tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's is the go-to, and hey, Christmas just a couple days away. You're cutting it a little close if you haven't secured a gift by now. But I might be alongside you if I'm going to be completely honest. So it's not too late. They'll never know that maybe you went and got a gift last minute because it's time to celebrate gift-giving season with an unforgettable gift from Bromberg's. Dazzling diamonds, designer jewelry, luxury watches, giftware. There's something for everyone on your list. And as Alabama's leading jeweler since 1836, Bromberg's has helped make Christmas wishes come true for generations, and with complimentary gift wrap and their signature silver box, you'll give a gift they'll treasure forever. Visit Bromberg's in Mountain Brook and the Summit, or you can shop online at brombergs.com.
All right, let's get Jay Tate on the phone. He covers the Auburn Tigers with us now on the Higginbotham hotline. What have your thoughts been after, what has it been, about a month, I guess, since Alex Golesh has been the Auburn head football coach? Just in general, things you're hearing, things you're noticing.
Yeah, what's up, Cole? Thanks for having me. So Golesh, very, very focused on process. He's a pretty dry dude. I mean, he's cool, but he's not real chatty, and he's all about football, man. Yep. I mean, 100% all about football. All he thinks about is football. All he talks about is football, and he is a business-only kind of dude. So very different than the last guy Auburn had, really different than the last two guys Auburn's had. Well, 4. No, never mind. And I like him. He's all business, and it's going to take somebody, I think, that's going to put their, they got to be hard-nosed to get this Auburn situation straightened out, as you know. And I think he's going to definitely – if it doesn't work for him, it's not going to be because he didn't put the hours in and didn't work hard enough.
When you look at his approach, I think that you can kind of get labeled as such when you have a – high-flying offensive attack that utilizes tempo and energy and vertical passing. People will label you a certain way. I think he's kind of the opposite. He just knows that that's an easy way to move the football, but he really, in the perfect world, probably wants to run triple option. Just knowing him, like this mindset feels that way. So what do you think this offense is going to look like ultimately?
I think ultimately it's going to be a lot like what USF had last year, and I think they'll probably have the quarterback that they had last year too. I mean, I think that's what's going to happen. But he can run it. They can throw it. And I agree with you, Greg. I think that ultimately he wants to just be a physical team. And if that means throwing the ball to the perimeter and being physical, that's fine too. But I think they're going to run the ball, between the A gaps and the B gaps as well. And they'll have a quarterback who can do that one way or another. Physicality is what it's all about for him.
Jay Tate joining us on the Higginbotham hotline, talking Auburn. And some Auburn fans are concerned with what they're seeing go into the transfer portal. Now, I think it's still – we haven't all trained our brains to have a full understanding of what all of this is all the time. Some can be just negotiation tactics. Some can be wanting to see who actually will pay attention to you once you're there. Ashton Daniels, Kayan Lee, the latest to go in. There's been a pretty large handful of guys that are in the portal now for this Auburn football team. What do you make of first just the amount of guys that have gone in since Coach Golesh has taken over?
Well, it's surprising in the sense that there was exactly one player from Auburn that went in the portal last year, Braden Joyner, who ended up going to Purdue. So it's a lot different. But you've got you got a regime change, and it's also kind of the changing landscape of NIL now. I think, like you said, Cole, you want to find out what your market value is. The best way to do that is get in the portal and see who calls, see who's interested. I got no problem with that. There were some people that were surprised that Ashton went in the portal, and I'm like, wait a minute. You still got the USF quarterback out there. You still got Deuce Knight out there. Like, I didn't see a clear path to playing time for him here, so that one wasn't shocking to me at all. I do think that with Freeze and that staff, they were just trying to get talent, decent players to come on campus because when Harsin left, there wasn't much there. And so I think from an NIL perspective, they got a little scattershot, and they were just kind of doing what they had to do to get guys on campus, believing that just getting talent here would be enough. And it definitely, they were successful in that end. But I didn't think they got coached real well, and we definitely know they couldn't finish football games. So they've got to change, I think, a little bit about how they keep this roster together. I don't think you can just be in the let's grab a bunch of players point now. Now you've got to be a little more specific about we got to have player here, a player that can do this at this position. And I think they're kind of changing the way that they're allocating NIL now. They're being a little more fastidious, I guess. And players, I think they expect to get a raise every year. And even if it's a player that didn't perform well, I don't think Golish is feeling that so much. So maybe that's part of it too.
What do you make of the other guys that decided to get in the portal? I was a little surprised given the style of offense he's bringing in. I think receivers would be all jacked up about it. And yet you have 3 guys go in pretty quickly, 2 of which I thought could really help you. So what is that attributed to?
Yeah, I mean, those are different situations. I mean, I think Perry just wants to go somewhere where he can be a featured player. And I think he showed the kind of improvement last year where he deserves that shot. And I think that's good for him. He wants big-time money to have a big-time opportunity to be a wide receiver 1. So that's great for him. Horatio, I'm not exactly sure on him as much. They really liked him. I thought he was coming along nicely last year until he got hurt. Maybe it's a situation where he was asking for a little bit more money, and they were like, wait, have you proven yourself? They've had that conversation with a bunch of kids, and some of them are cool with it and some of them aren't. I'm guessing Horatio is one that wasn't cool with that.
Jay Tate joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You referenced quarterback a few moments ago. Same from last year, be quarterback this year. Kind of give us the lay of the land in that room right now as where it stands of how you think it will look once Auburn kicks off next season.
I mean, my expectation if the USF quarterback doesn't go pro, and I don't think that he will, that he'll end up at Auburn. I mean, nobody's told me that. I don't know that. But, I mean, they liked him a lot. He threw for 3,000 and rushed for another 1,000 last year. He was very, very prolific in that sense. Now, transferring from that league to the SEC, big step up for him. But they feel like, I mean, they speak so highly of him. I think they would believe in him completely. And I think Deuce Knight is a guy that they've already identified as somebody that they definitely want to keep. Not necessarily to play next year, or maybe he will. I mean, he'll compete. But I think everybody who knows Deuce, who watches him in practice, they know he has the talent. And it's just a matter of getting him up to speed and letting him, learn a little bit. Jackson Arnold may not have been the best guy for him to learn from, although I think Ashton was. But I still think Deuce has a huge upside, and I think they see that. And I think it'll be those 2 guys for sure. Then you'll probably have a third guy, just whoever.
What do you think is another position that you think they'll target heavily from a portal standpoint? What do they need from a personnel standpoint to kind of take the next step?
Boy, that's a long list, Greg. I think it's got to be both lines, specifically defensive tackle. Now, Malik Blockton is going in the portal. Going into the portal and staying in the portal and leaving are 2 different things. I don't necessarily know that he's going to leave for sure, but he may, and that's a tough loss. Amaris Williams is another one to keep an eye on. They've got to have guys on both sides of the line. Losing Keldrick, losing Key this year because they're just getting they're aging out. They're graduating and going to the NFL. They got to have dudes, man, and you just can't repel the run when you're going to rely on freshmen. So they got to get heavy in the portal at DT. They need at least another end. If they lose Amaris, they're going to need 2 or maybe 3. And then on the offensive side, I wasn't super blown away by what they did on the O-line either. You get Connor Lew back is going to help you at center, but I still think they need to upgrade it at both tackle spots and one of the guard spots. So they need to go heavy on the line, I think.
They need a lineman bad, in a bad way.
So bad.
I would say tight end, H-back, whatever you wanted to call it, a bonus big to be able to help kind of move around and help that group, I think, will be key as well to be able to bring in. You mentioned Amaris Williams. That's the one that kind of, I think, guys are going to go in every year, every team. Some will stay, some will still go. That was one that surprised me, Jay, because I just figured there'd be an emphasis on him. Like you said, because Falk was leaving, you don't have a ton of depth at that position, and he really flashed late in the year. Do you have any sense of is just him unhappy, him wanting more, him not feeling like with DJ staying? That was one that I looked at and said, man, that's a little bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, for sure. With DJ staying, I thought a lot of these guys would just stay, but it's the changing landscape of NIL and just wanting to test your market. With Amaris, he almost left last year. I mean, within just an inch of leaving last year, or at least going in the portal. And so I just kind of always assumed that he was going to be, he would go in the portal and actually try this time. I mean, he's still a long way from home, coming in from North Carolina. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams out that way, all over, that are going to be interested in talking to him. I mean, if he can make $1 million, $1.25 million, I mean, I think you got to go with that. I still think if he wants $1 million and he walks into Golish's office and says that, I don't know that he has the production to justify $1 million. There's going to be teams out there that will probably pay that. But Golish is big on production, and this whole staff is. So maybe that's where it broke down there. I think they really need to keep him though. I think Amaris is an absolute stud.
Absolutely. Jay, we appreciate the time, man. Great stuff. Great update. Appreciate you hopping on with us. We'll do it again soon.
Appreciate it, man. See ya.
Jay Tate covers the Auburn football program, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Does a great job. I think one of the best voices there is out there that has covered Auburn on a consistent basis. Find him on Twitter at JG Tate. Greg, he mentioned quarterbacks and maybe some that are still there, will be there. I mean, this transfer portal quarterback class is beginning to stack up quickly as one that a lot of teams are potentially going to be able to get a lot of help. I'm just going to run through some names for folks here of kids that are in the portal now. Brennan Sorsby, Cincinnati, we both think very highly of. DJ Lagway, Florida. Dylan Rayola, Nebraska. Rocco Becht, Iowa State. I think most people would assume that that's going to be a move to Penn State. Josh Hoover, TCU. Very productive. Kenny Minchie, Notre Dame. Hasn't started a ton, but obviously talent in that spot for a reason. Aiden Childs, Michigan State. A lot of playing time. Bo Perbula, Missouri. Aaron Philo, Georgia Tech. I think people will probably plug him to Florida. I think he's going to go there. Caden Hauser, ECU. Had a really nice year. You go look at the numbers, look at the production, what he did. Had a good year. Colton Joseph, Old Dominion, production. This Jaden Craig kid from Harvard. Have you watched him yet?
No.
Well, everybody's wetting their pants on him, saying he's the next big thing. So I'll go watch him at some point this offseason, probably when he makes a decision.
From Harvard?
I'm just telling you, people say he's like big time. So I haven't seen the tape.
I'll buzz the tape.
I haven't seen the tape, so I'm just letting you know. That's what the people are saying. There's some massive names in the transfer portal. Guys that we have watched play, guys that played some good football, and we're not done, by the way, of quarterbacks that are going to be in. So going to be a very interesting offseason to see where some of these quarterbacks make their moves to.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating offseason. And if you look at the quarterback derby especially, I think the market's gotten outrageous, as you can imagine. But we're looking at it all. I mean, there's a lot of really quality pieces. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, but you also have the super high ceiling guys that if they could just get in the right situation, it's a wrap. And DJ Lagway is the best example. I mean, DJ Lagway has tons of talent, tons of ability, but it hasn't really all come together for him. This past year was a real disappointment, but we also must keep in mind the guy doesn't practice. You know, in the offseason, 2 years in a row, he hasn't really been available in the offseason. So it's going to be really important for him to get a lot of reps this spring and to kind of get back to the fundamentals, because fundamentally he's a mess. Talent-wise, though, is outrageous. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this whole market plays out, because there's some super high ceiling guys, and then there's some super high floor guys like Brennan Sorsby, high floor, Rocco Becht, high floor, like a ton of guys that have super high floor. And I don't know which side I lean towards, but I'd probably lean towards taking the high floor personally.
Yeah. All right, some more college football news that is coming in the last day or so. Some this morning. Darian Mensah says he'll be back at Duke to play quarterback next year. Kenny Dillingham gets an extension at Arizona State, which means he won't be the Michigan head coach. We'll go there in a few minutes. Chip Lindsey, last year's Michigan offensive coordinator, is now going to be the OC at Missouri. And Bobby Petrino is being reported as the next offensive coordinator at North Carolina, Greg.
Good coach. Knows how to call plays, that's for sure.
Yeah, miserable facility, but some good coaching prowess in there. Don't go in there for the conversation.
I don't think they're going to have a lot of fun.
Don't go in there for the conversation is all I'm saying. If you want to catch up on family and friends, the North Carolina facility is not for you, by the way.
Totally fair. There won't be a lot of fun there. I agree with that.
If you're looking for to live the real life Grinch movie, head to Chapel Hill. You can experience that firsthand.
That's where you want to go.
That is it. That will be the one.
Is Jordan Cindy Lou?
Yeah. Some people would say maybe she's getting that thing turned around. So
okay,
possibly.
Wow.
Andrew Sports Medicine can help you if you're suffering from an injury, if you're having trouble getting back on the court, on the field. There's a reason Auburn Athletics hand-selected Andrews Sports Medicine's Dr. Benson Emblem and Charles Pitts to serve as their team physicians. They provide the highest quality sports medicine care in an effort to keep the Tiger student-athletes safe, healthy, and competing at the highest level. If Andrews Sports Medicine is the choice for Auburn Athletics, there's no doubt they should be your family's number one choice for sports medicine and orthopedic care. Andrews Sports Medicine has 7 locations across central Alabama, from Birmingham, Coleman, Gardendale, Hoover, Pelham, and Trussville. They offer same-day, next-day appointments for acute sports injuries. Visit AndrewSportsMedicine.com today to begin your journey of achieving victory over injury. Let's get to Charles quickly. Lake Martin wants to talk college football. Welcome in, Charles.
Hey, guys. Hey, every year Alabama makes playoffs or, goes postseason, you guys never sit around and just trash the other team, no matter how bad the other team is. But I was watching the Oregon game on Fox, and I hardly ever watch Fox anyway, but I just tuned in to listen to what they had to say about Indiana and Alabama. And literally, so much disrespect for Alabama. At one point they said we shouldn't even be on the field with Indiana, and how much, even on paper, Indiana looks better than Alabama. It was just incredibly insane comments they were making. And to me, it doesn't make it legit to listen to someone like that and to just downplay just how good the SEC is just because they're so northern biased. A bunch of Yankees that didn't know football to begin with. And but I was just wondering if you guys caught that over the weekend and how those announcers were.
I didn't hear it, so I can't comment directly on it, but I will say, I think Indiana is the best football team in this tournament. That doesn't mean they have the best collection of talent or all the best players, but I think they operate as the best team. I also think Alabama has plenty of opportunities to compete with them and plenty of opportunities to be able to find success on both sides of the ball. You have to go execute it. You have to understand what's in front of you. You have to understand the assignment. You have to understand your technique and fundamentals and then execute it at a high level if you're going to have that success, Greg. But I don't look at these two teams as miles apart. I would favor Indiana right now, yeah. But there are ways that Alabama can go.
So would I.
They can go find ways to win this football game.
Totally.
And what if Indiana makes mistakes?
They could, but yeah, and they can.
It's feasible.
Maybe they will, and maybe they'll get punched, and maybe it won't work out for them. I think Alabama's more equipped to be able to cover them than most teams, which is a great starting point. The other thing I'd say too is look, Fox is they own the rights to the Big Ten. That's what they do. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It definitely is a tilted and skewed broadcast. It's the way it's very obvious that it is. And just look at where the Big Noon Kickoff goes on a week-to-week basis, right? They go to the biggest game. They promote their stuff, which they should. They're in business with the Big Ten, so it makes sense. But if you're looking for real unbiased, unfiltered, there's other places for it. Indiana's an outstanding football team and deserve every ounce of credit that they will get leading up to this game. But it doesn't mean you have to completely rip the other side. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's two ways here. Alabama, is there a path to victory for Alabama? No question about it, there is. In this game, would I prefer to have Indiana's team? Perhaps, yeah. For sure, they're outstanding. But does it mean that in an underdog, back against the wall, wounded animal, us against the world mentality, I wouldn't like to be on the side of Alabama? 100% I would. So I think there's a lot going for Bama heading into this matchup. It'll be tough. It'll be a hard game. I absolutely believe they have the goods to be able to get it done.
Absolutely. All right, when we come back, we will continue talking college football playoff from over the weekend. Some thoughts on that Oregon JMU game, Ole Miss Tulane, next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys being with us. We kind of had a lot of discussions today about the overreaction, taking away a little bit too much from one setting, one game, one half, one quarter, one round, whatever that is. Is it a little bit more fair, though, Greg, to look at what happened with Tulane and JMU and say this might not be the best recipe for how we're deciding what team should be in?
Well, my opinion on this has never changed. I mean, it's always been there's a gap. My head's not in the sand. I've been saying this for years. And while some people that have never played and some people that haven't been to the games and some people that haven't been on the field and haven't talked to the coaches, like some people will sit there and say, oh, yeah, it's the same game. It's not the same game, guys. Like if you just go watch the caliber of competition in the American versus the caliber of competition in the lowest level of the G or the P4, it's not comparable. It's very, very different. Now, I say that, and then in addition to that, I still think there's a spot for them in the field. The problem that I have right now is not that the G5 is in. I think they deserve to be in because you shut them out, you all of a sudden eliminate 60-plus schools and millions of fans. So I don't want to eliminate them completely. But the only way their inclusion makes sense is in a 16-team field. And the only way their inclusion makes sense is to give the advantage of playing against the G5 team to the number 1 overall seed. That way, you make a lot of sense out of it because guess who the number 1 overall seed's probably going to be? Probably going to be a Power 4 conference champion from the SEC or the Big Ten, right? So now there's real value in being the conference champion of the SEC or the Big Ten. That conference championship game now matters because guess what? If I win my conference, I get to play the G5 in the first round at home. Great. That's huge, right? It's a huge advantage. Right now, their inclusion is going to the number 5 seed, and that's not right. The number 5 seed has the biggest advantage of maybe anyone in the entire field. And in this year's case, the 5 and the 6 seed have a huge advantage over everybody else. They get to knock the rust off in a glorified scrimmage, and now in 12 days, they get to go in having kind of sharpened their sword into a game against a team that's been off for 4+ weeks. So the only way their inclusion makes sense going forward is in a 16-team field, and they have to go on the road to the number 1 overall seed, which can really benefit and validate a lot of things when it comes to our postseason format.
Damien, what was your big takeaway, maybe big couple takeaways from this round of the playoffs over the weekend?
Home field is a massive advantage, but minus 1 game. But there is a clear separation between G5 and Power 5. I mean, James Madison and Tulane, listen, y'all, they had a great season. They did in their respective conferences, but the gap is monumental. Like you knew those games were over rather quickly. But shout out to Miami and Texas A&M. I think, besides the 17-point comeback from Alabama, I think that was if you were a true football fan, that was probably the best game you watched all weekend.
John, what were your thoughts over the weekend?
That I'm glad we actually finally, for the first time in the 12-team era, got good first-round games. Last year, they were all lopsided and may have been kind of somewhat close for a little bit, but last year we got 4 blowouts. I mean, all 4 games were at least 10 points. This one, we at least had 2 quality, good back-and-forth games. And unfortunate that JMU and Tulane weren't as competitive. Well, we didn't expect that, but I think also, I don't know if we need to expand more, but I also do think that Texas Tech, Indiana, Georgia, and Ole Miss deserve to have a home playoff game too. So I think the only way for that to happen is expand to 16 and make another round at home. But I think they deserve that too, because I think being off for a whole month and then having to be in neutral sites, I don't think that's fair for those fans.
Yeah, no, it's fair. When you look at what's next, what comes to mind, Damien? Not just Alabama and Indiana, but just what's next in that round.
Man, it's going to be the tail of the tape because I do think, and you brought up a great point with Texas Tech, and Oregon's good enough. If they jump on them, it may not be as competitive as people expected. Like that game could really get sideways if Oregon continues to light up the way that they have. But Indiana, Alabama, I think is going to be a fantastic matchup. Georgia, I think Georgia, it's kind of I had the same conversation about Oklahoma. It's maybe this time off is a little bit more detrimental. I think that they were rolling so high there on after they lost to Alabama, and then where they were, they wanted to keep the momentum rolling. Like, they would have played, 2 weeks, boom, let's go and see what happens. But I do think that a lot of these matchups, I think Miami and Ohio State could be interesting. But I think the competitiveness that we're going to see, I think it's going to be an exciting second round, because we're going to see like who the best teams are moving forward.
I could buy into some of that time off works against you, not with Kirby Smart though.
Yeah.
Not with Kirby. You agree with that, Greg?
I just think that sometimes it's not so much, it's the little things. Like, if you look at, what was weird last year in the quarterfinal matchups? It was like special teams gaffes. It was giving up a big punt return. It was, mistakes there. I feel like there were a couple special teams gaffes in every game. It was ball security. It was unusual fumbles. It's just like, you're in football shape. You're going to be buttoned up. You're going to be in a good spot, but that's a long time to lay off. You might not tackle as well. You might not it's just things change. And if you're playing really, really well, like Georgia was at the end of the season, are you benefited by having a 4-week layoff, or are you benefited by continuing to play? Sometimes the worst thing for you is time off. And I think in Georgia's case, while beat up, it would have been advantageous for them to keep the trainer rolling.
I can see part of it, but at the same time, I know how Kirby operates and manages his business. I don't see it as big a deal for them. And you go back to last year and kind of how it looked. From a matchup perspective, though, I think there's a chance we get some really good games. Yeah. And Greg, you weren't here for my first public thoughts on Texas Tech in this playoff last week, but spent a lot of time on them leading up to last week. This could be really bad for them, in my opinion. I don't know where you are on them.
Tech?
Yeah.
Oof, I'm not with you at all.
We got evidence. We got tape.
Yeah,
I got tape.
I think there's some fool's gold with Texas Tech right now, man. We'll find out. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
I think they're a lot better on the defensive line. They can cause a lot of problems.
They can, but I think there can be, problems caused against them as well. And it's just all you got to do is not allow people to have freebies.
Are you overwhelmingly concerned about Oregon's defensive front?
I think they can cause some problems. I don't think they're going to be overly dominant. But I don't think Texas Tech's a team that allows your defensive line to dominate the way they run their offense. So I think that kind of negates itself a little bit. I think Oregon will have a lot more success than people think on offense.
I think Oregon's really good on offense. I've wondered for a while, though, if Oregon's pass rush is as good as people want to make it out to be. I also wonder, too, how good Oregon is on the outside. I don't know how good Oregon is at corner. I think they're fine. I don't think they're crazy elite. I do think Oregon can move it. I think Oregon can score. I think Oregon will be able to create and neutralize a little bit of Texas Tech's defensive line. I think it's going to be a battle. I absolutely think that Texas Tech will hang. Absolutely think that. I think Oregon's very flashy. Very flashy. And when things are going good, man, they're fun to watch. When they get punched, I don't know. I still don't know. And I think they like to do all the pretty fun stuff, but I think there are some things with them, the Iowa game, the Indiana game, there are some games where it's like, I don't know. There's a couple of games in there where it's like, I think Texas Tech's defensive front can create enough problems to make it a little bit more challenging for them than you think. It's just the JMU game, throw it away.
I'm not basing it off that game at all. I said this last week before that game.
not learning too much.
I don't think the second level is what people are making it out to be. They allow them to run. They give them freedom. Yes. They They slant, they stunt, they jump gaps, and that's a problem for a lot of people. I think Oregon's offensive line is good enough to manage a lot of it. Doesn't mean they won't get some hits. They'll hit a double here and there. Texas Tech's not going to hit 10 home runs against this Oregon offense defensively. They're not. It's not going to happen. And I think there'll be a speed differential as well that will show up. So you can't, like what you were saying early, Greg, about when you watch JMU and when you watch Tulane, you watch that defense closely, you'll see some similar things in Texas Tech. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't. Look at the edges. Outside of 1D tackle, the front seven, it does not look the same. So I think it's going to be – I'll take Oregon.
Just calling it. Hey,
I'm
calling
fine
it
with you
now,
taking
baby.
Oregon.
What's the spread? I haven't
I'm
even
fine
looked
with you
at it.
taking
I don't
Oregon.
care. I'll take Oregon.
It's like 1.5.
So it ain't even
I'm
an
not
upset.
taking it at 10.5.
Wow, double dig. I don't think you're giving enough credit to Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech's got some more daddies up front. I really believe that. I think they got some more daddies up front. If Skylar Gill Howard, who's out, if he, for whatever reason, were able to get back, that'd be helpful. I think it's going to be tight. I do. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think Texas Tech can absolutely hang.
I hope so because I want to see a competitive game. I'm concerned that it may not be, though. So we'll see. A lot more to get to, a lot more to discuss. Before we do that, GMAC.
By the way, do we not put into account that it's 9 a.m. local kick for Oregon? That doesn't matter.
Just line it up, baby. Time don't matter. Just put the ball down. We can go at midnight. They're a Big Ten school, Greg. Then time don't matter.
Just saying.
I mean, no, I don't.
All right.
Listen, I thought Tennessee was going to push Ohio State around last year.
Yeah,
I was wrong. Okay. I thought Oklahoma was going to beat Alabama. I was wrong. I've been wrong a plenty. And this may be the next one that I step out on and I'm wrong about. But my opinion is right now, there's some real fool's gold with Texas Tech. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean they have some good players that do some good things. But I think a lot more of it is created by scheme than is you better watch out for this guy. There's nothing you can do about that guy. There are things that can negate scheme. And I think Oregon will have some answers for that. And I'm not as confident as Oregon's defense against Texas Tech's offense. But the other way around, Texas Tech better hope they hit some home runs. And by the way, home runs
Well, that's what they do.
Home runs, they're going to need to come on some pitches that miss. Not just because they overwhelm you, if that makes sense, which it probably doesn't. But I'll try to make it make more on the other side after you tell us about Crocker Moving Services.
Well, they're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. If they need your whole home packed up and move, your company headquarters moved across the country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room, these guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you've purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's CrockerMovingService.com. That's CrockerMovingService.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Service for your next move.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk old college basketball. Richard Hendricks joins us. Thanks to Pizza Pulls right after this on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It is 9:40, Monday, December 22nd. We got to hustle into Richard Hendricks, talk some college basketball. He joins us every Monday. Thanks to our friends at Pizza Pulse. I can tell you right now, you go to Fanatics Live, go to Pizza Pulse in the store. They have a Panini National Treasures with Bowman Best College Football break that you're going to want to get into. If it's patches, autos, numbered cards, super rare stuff that you can get, that'll be coming up Tuesday or Wednesday this week. Go find that. And if you're a college football fan looking to get back into the hobby, Pizza Pulse has what you need. Richard, always a pleasure to catch up with you and talk some college basketball. I feel like even though things have not gone well the last 2 weeks with Stephen Pearl's team, Auburn fans can kind of exhale a little bit because this ridiculous run on the schedule will be over. Is there a way that after that they can now turn a corner, find a little bit more consistency over the next week or two?
Yeah, well, they definitely need to. And you talk about a team that's been, I believe, 1-4 against AP top 25 teams this in the non-conference slate. So getting to the conference is going to be very important for them. You talk about consistency. I think their hotshot sophomore in Tahad Pettiford is going to have to raise his level of play and become a much more consistent player, which he has the capability of doing. So I think for Auburn, you have to let go of the non-conference, flip the page, and see if you can reset and get things settled right in SEC play.
What do you think is there, do we put too much stock on preseason? Because these teams are still, I know we say preseason, I know it's regular season, but it's like, I feel like we draw a lot of conclusions based on how you perform in the non-con, but ultimately a lot of these teams are built to succeed in conference itself. So can we occasionally put too much stock on how you're looking right now as compared to where you might look, what you might look like in a couple months?
Oh, most definitely. I think obviously everybody knows on sports teams that you want your team to be at its strongest and the most important time of the season, which is in conference play and moving to the conference tournament and obviously making it to the NCAAs. But you have to pick up some big time wins in the non-conference play. And if you can have your team ready to play and maybe upset someone in a neutral site game, then those wins, as other teams improve and their resume improves, then it only strengthens your resume moving to the tournament. The SEC has really not been able to do the level of job that they did last year in the non-conference. I believe they're 9-25 in AP top 25 games that they have played. And the top-rated team, Vanderbilt, is undefeated, and the highest-rated team the SEC has in the net rankings hasn't even competed against the AP top 25 team. So there's a lot to say about who you play in the non-conference. And then if you play challenging teams like Alabama and Auburn, have they been battle-tested playing against tough teams in the non-conference? That can position you to be in a good situation when you do make the NCAA tournament for a possible rematch or playing against a team that you've had of that type of caliber.
What do you think that you have not seen much of from that Auburn team that you think you can or will see more of down the stretch? Something that they can maybe alter a little bit, a place that you think there's a real chance they could improve and it would benefit them greatly?
Well, I think you're definitely just going to have to start to lean on the defensive end. I mean, this is a team that obviously everyone knows that Stephen Pearl can really get things done as far as analytics are concerned, driving it, trying to get offense going. But this is a team that they're going to have to figure out how to lock teams down defensively to get games won. I mean, this is a chance where you have tough losses against big teams. Purdue comes in. They dominate you to win by, a significant margin. You did play Houston tough in the early midseason. But if you can slow down the tempo, if you can control the ball and grind things out from a defensive standpoint, it gives you a chance. And then you got to hope that your offense can get back up onto the same page, obviously with Pettiford leading the way, Keyshawn Hall playing really well. If these guys can start to get on the same page as far as continuity with the offense, then I think they'll be much better off.
When you look at Alabama, it was a good win yesterday, obviously. The offense has not at all been a concern for them. It's mostly defense, second chance points, rebounding, presence in the low post defensively. Are those still concerns for you as they move forward, or are those things that can be handled and fixed in the conference slate?
Oh, most definitely. I think Alabama had Aiden Sherrill yesterday had his career high with 21 points and 7 rebounds to boot. that's going to be significant when it comes to Alabama being competitive in the SEC, that you have some tough interior play, that you're going to be able to control the rebounding margin. And if they can do that, then they can be an elite team. That backcourt with Philon and Holloway, they're one of the best that I've seen in the country. But Alabama's got to be able to have a consistent level of play from game to game. Whenever I see them play against top-level opponents, you'll see that they can play a good brand of style. I think in the last game against Kennesaw State, they had 31 three-point attempts. They might come back and lean more so the next time on the three ball. I think that sweet spot for them is somewhere in that 35, maybe 40 3 points per game. When they start to get over 50, then it takes away a little bit of that defensive identity that they need to have. And because it's important when you play against teams in the conference like a Tennessee, like Arkansas, that can make the game tough. And you're going to have that toughness on the inside to win.
Who do you think the toughest, most physical team in the league right now is?
Well, I'd have to say right now, I think I would go with Arkansas. I think Arkansas has some legitimate bigs. Nick Pringle's been playing for 5-6 years of college basketball. Malik Ewan is a load inside. When you talk about the wings that Arkansas has, Trevin Brazil, 6'11", 40-inch vertical, long wingspan. They definitely can go in and pound you when they're not shooting the ball well. DJ Wagner is a really physical guard. And the guards they have that are freshmen, Darius Acup Jr., Malik Thomas. Arkansas and Coach Kyle has his team playing really good basketball. Now, they lost a tough game against Houston this weekend, but I think they're playing a really good style when you talk about the physicality. Now, the teams that can get up and down, Alabama and Vanderbilt, they're going to get up and down. But it's going to be a matter of the contrast of styles when you get into SEC play.
Don't think there's any doubt. Richard, we appreciate the update. Always good catching up with you on Mondays, and we'll do it again next week.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
Merry Christmas. All right, Richard Hendricks joining us on the Higginbotham